All right, just fix that so that way we have me in the corner, which is kind of nice. Okay, so what I find is really important when you guys are doing work is I want to give you guys student exemplars so you guys can see what people like you guys are able to produce and how that's going to influence your grade. I don't want to write what an achieved answer looks like or what a merit answer looks like or what an excellence answer looks like because it's not organic enough and it's obviously written purposely to look like that. And so the more student examples I have, the better. And that's why I have taken all 18 assessments that have been completed yesterday, scan them all and given them a mark, and why you guys were doing that activity. The reason why I want you guys to do this is because I want you guys to get an idea of progressions of quality of work. So you guys can kind of see, like, if you're at the achieve level, how do I bring it up to a merit? If I'm at the merit level, how do I bring it up to excellence? And you can see there's lots of different examples of how students have done it because there's no one perfect way to answer the question. I do try to do this sort of you be the marker is what I call this activity. You guys are being the marker. I do try to do this in other activities when it fits well. We'll probably do more of these when we are doing externals, because what I'll do is I'll give you guys all a practice question. I will look for the various answers. Sorry, look for different ranges of answers for the same question, and then I'm going to have you guys mark it to help you understand the marking criteria and what the achieve, merit, and excellence look like. It's an important skill set for you guys to develop because I want to make sure when you guys are studying, you know if you are hitting the right mark. I know a lot of you guys want to get excellences, but you don't actually know how to. And this is what I'm trying to teach you is the how. And the best way to kind of know it is by seeing examples of other students' work. So that's why, again, when you guys are doing practice exams, I'm going to take your student work and I'm going to share it with the class so you guys can see it and mark it so you understand the marking schedule, so that way you have the skill set to do that when you are studying and doing your own practice questions. Are we good so far? All right, so I just wanted to kind of show you guys the range of answers and also like which one was given for each one. I was trying to think if there's something else with my thought process with that. Oh, this, even though we are doing this for Spec, this is a skill set you can then translate across to all the other standards in chemistry and basically any other standard you guys are doing for NCA as well. Because NCA is marking you based on your critical thinking skills and your problem solving skills, that sort of thing. So long as you have the marking schedule in front of you or you know how you're going to be assessed for the achieve, merit, and excellence, then you'll be able to do that sort of self-assessment. So for the achieved, I put it on the Google form, and it basically said we are looking for identification of key features in all three spectra. So I was looking for all three of them. So you needed to make a note on the IR, the mass spec, and the CMMR. And if you're looking between the achieved and the not achieved, so what I have here is an example for the first one is a high achieved. They've labeled everything. And the thing that they've missed for this one, which is really, really silly, is they do actually have the right answer here, but they didn't put the hydrogens down. So can't give you anything more than that because you actually haven't gotten the organic molecule. There was also a mistake that was made in the counting of the carbon environments. This one has written 5 when there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. I think they were misreading an oxygen or something. But that's something to kind of keep in mind. So even though this student here has gotten a lot of good work written down and has actually gotten things here that would potentially be towards the excellence level, like recognizing that this is an even number, so there's no nitrogen, and that's actually one of the excellence criteria is the integration of your spectra. Because they haven't gotten the right molecule, it then marks them down to an achieved. So chemistry is really harsh like that, unfortunately. So that one was a high achieved. Another one here that was a high achieved was C. So C, again, has done that labeling. The only issue I have is with the mass spec in this one is that they haven't labeled base, peak, or molecular ion, but they did still label that they recognize that this ion could be this fragment or that fragment, and that to me is identifying a unique feature. So that has hit all three. So I was willing to give this one an achieved. Trying to see where the low achieved one was. Is there B? That's low excellence. I'm looking for a low achieved. I think there was only one, that was R. Oh, it is not like that. Okay, so R, labeled. This one here, labeled and labeled, Didn't really like how it was labeled as mass instead of molecular ion, but you know the mass of the compound based on the molecular ion, so I was willing to let it go for low achieved. For those ones that were not achieved, that was M and O. So if we look at M, you see how they only labeled this one here. They didn't label that this 3 carbon environments. They didn't label anything on here. So that was the real barrier there. So real easy to pass it. Just don't do silly things like that. And student G was so close to passing, but circled it, didn't label it. Didn't tell me what that meant. Got everything else though, so that was a real shame. This one I would have allowed for a resubmission. I would have just asked you what molecule is that. But I figured let's just do second attempts, so that way you guys can improve your marks. So that is the story with that one. For the merit then, the one I want to show you guys is J. Not G, J. All right, so this one here has done a good job in figuring out what the molecule is, and has given me some justification, but the issue that I have with J is they haven't integrated the spectra, and that is a very clear requirement for the excellence. I did have one of my teacher friends check it to see what he thought, because I was like, ooh, could this be a low excellence? And we both agreed that actually it isn't showing integration. So even though the student has labeled that this is a carbonyl, it hasn't actually linked that this is confirming and double checking the IR. So for the excellence, I'm looking for that integration. So you could have labeled it with these two here. You can draw an arrow. I know one of the excellence people did draw arrows. See? There we go. This one labeled it with an arrow. And you see how did this exact same thing, but the only thing different was just drawing an arrow to show that it was a confirmation. And I talked to my chemistry teacher friend, and he was like, that is such a smart way to show integration. I'm so glad you taught your kids that. I'm going to teach my kids that, because it is an integration. So that is what we're kind of looking for the difference. The other thing that you could be labeling for your integration is this one here, talking about how there's 3 carbon environments, but the mass shows 4 carbons, so there must be symmetry. That way we're not integrating the mass spec and the CMMR. The other thing that you could have written is this one here, knowing that it is a positive number, therefore it is eliminating the nitrogen potential. So again, you're linking the mass spec with the IR. So that is what I'm looking for excellence. That more or less covers what the difference between excellence and merit is. Let's see. So that was the J, and then F. Let me just show you F so you guys can see that one. Here we go. So this answer is F. Really happy with a lot of it, but my problem with F was that they haven't shown integration. There's a lot of other good things that are in there. They've shown the elimination of another molecule. They have talked about the fragments, but they just forgot to integrate. And then that is now a merit. Okay? So that is what I was kind of stressing to you. And then the excellences are more or less the same. The only thing that I wrote on some of these excellences is that they just missed something. They didn't have like every single bit of integration, or there's something from there. Or they made silly mistakes. So the low excellence B, look at that one. So B did something silly. When they eliminated molecules, they said that this was 5 carbon environments when they should have wrote 4. So that is a minor thing that I will be willing to forgive for an excellence level student, because they have other good things in there. H was a low excellence because, I'm just reading it, only had 1 integration, and that was just ruling out nitrogen. I thought they could use more integration. N, let's see. Yep. More integration, and then Q. This is the other one I want to point out, Q. What is that? O, P. You can tell you ran out of sticky notes. All right, so Q did a really good job. They've very clearly told me what they've eliminated and why. The issue is they just ticked over here that was the right answer, and that was the extent of what they wrote. I was able to look at the rest of their script and could tell that because they've ticked this off as the right answer, they're using this information that they've written down. The main thing that they've kind of missed in this case is that they haven't actually clearly stated that this is 3 carbon environments. But because they ticked it, I was able to give them an excellence for it. If they hadn't ticked it, I don't know what I would have given for that, because then you wouldn't have clearly labeled the molecule. I probably would have still done it, just because I know the process and the thought that has gone into it shows excellence level thinking. It's just, please don't make something like that. All right, cool. The other thing that I've done, if you guys are curious to know quality of answers, especially, what, can I not move it? There we go. Is that I have ranked the excellence answers, so that way you can see what I think is the best excellence answer and the lowest of the excellence answers. They're all obviously excellences, but it's just so you guys know the small differences in the quality of answers that I just thought was kind of useful. Cool. Questions, concerns, or comments? Nope. All right, that's us. You guys have, oh, let me see. We got 30 minutes? No, 25 minutes. So, some of you guys, I'll pass back your assessments, so that's done and dusted. And what I will do is, so I'll pass back your assessments so you guys can see how you did. Have a look at your results. If you are not happy with the results and you are planning to do the second attempt, then that's fine. I do want you to write a to-do list of what you need to do to prepare for that second attempt. Okay? And if you're happy with your result, you're done.